So if you have a specific question, it's okay to jump into that specific question about what could you tell a non-Jew in this case, that case. Okay, so generally when we talk about that you're not allowed to tell a non-Jew to do work on Shabbos, there's generally two categories. One of it is called shlichus, which is more serious, where the guy is doing it directly for you. He's doing it, or either you told him to do it directly on Shabbos, or he's doing it so you can benefit from it on Shabbos, directly from it, like putting on a light, lighting candles. He's doing something you can benefit directly from it, as opposed to doing something for you on Shabbos that you're not necessarily going to benefit from it directly. So the guy is building a table for you on Shabbos. If he's building so you could use a table on Shabbos, it's you can have a table, but he's putting on a light for now, then it's for now. So you should benefit from it on Shabbos. So when he's doing that, you can benefit from it on Shabbos, that's worse. That's in a more serious category where there's less leniencies. So therefore, if a guy is doing something by himself, the halacha is you have to protest. Using the word protest, I'm translating. No, we don't protest like a protest. I mean, if the word is protest, I mean you have to. No, people aren't aware that if a guy is doing something for you on Shabbos, many times say no, you can't do this. But we also hint, because it depends what, right? And you want to share from what we learned before, because you were here when we did it before. You want to share when you're allowed to, if the guy's coming by himself, it's okay, and when you have to protest, or if you want. If not, I'll explain. Just you want it?
I think I remember just like one example, basically, of like they're doing something that would be like not just for you. Like say they're mowing the lawn or something, and they're doing it also for themselves. You have a shared lawn, and then that's okay. Right.
That's also true, right? So when they're doing it for themselves, yeah, you don't have to stop them. They're coming into your house and it's pitch dark. They want to see what's going. That she has to do work in your house, and work that's permitted, and it's dark, so she puts on the lights for herself. Yeah, she's doing it for herself. Yeah, that's no problem. That's for sure okay. But I'm saying even when she's doing it for you, there are situations where it's okay. The situations you say, no, please, you can't do this. The Shabbos can't do it for me. So when they are putting on light for you, when it's dark, they're putting on light. It's pitch dark. You have to stop them. No. Don't do it for me. You have to stop them. Okay, there can be situations where there's a leniency also. Can't be remote situations. Talking about generally, you have to stop them because they're doing something you're going to benefit from it. They're doing it so you could benefit from it on Shabbos. But if they're coming to put out the light, in other situations also, but just give one example. They're doing something that you're not going to benefit from the action itself, because you don't benefit from a dark bulb, you benefit from the result, then it's okay. And that's where you hear people saying, oh, you hint to the guy, you hint, you don't tell him directly. That's when you hint, because if they're putting on the light when it's pitch dark, you have to stop them. Right? When you're hinting to them, you hint and then you stop them. Doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't help anything. You have to stop them. You tell them, no, you can't. No, don't do it to me. Now, if in the event where you tell them to not to do it and they do it anyways, then it's fine, because you told them not to do it and they did it anyways. They did it for themselves. So that you told them clearly not to do it. So then it's not. Then it's fine. Is this understood so far? So you look confused. You look confused.
So when you would benefit from it directly,
they're doing
that's when
it.
you can
It's
hint?
not. No, that's when you can't. when you're benefiting directly and then doing it on Shabbos so you can benefit from it on Shabbos, like putting on a light so you can benefit when it's pitch dark.
Or like plugging in a hot water.
Yeah, that's that exactly. That's yeah, that's even worse. Yeah. Yes, right. So you have to they're coming to plug in water for you. No, don't do this. Now by water, we said did we discuss it?
The washing the dishes.
No. We discussed
She
by the guy cooking water is worse. In what way is a guy cooking water worse?
We say that?
The guys cooking water for themselves. For themselves. Is there a problem?
No.
No problem. You don't have to stop them. No problem. But there is a problem. What's the problem? Problem is you can't use the water. You can't, huh?
They cook the water for themselves.
It's fine. You don't have to stop them. They're doing it for themselves. But you can't use the water.
Okay.
So when they're putting on the light for themselves, you can use the light.
To be clear, this is all taking place in my house, right?
Right. Right. As opposed to today. There's no difference. Because by water, even though usually when a guy doesn't wait till they finish. You need help over there? You know?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm close, it doesn't close.
No. Oh no.
Hot water.
Yes, but it's okay.
So it's usually, when a guy does something for you, the guy's doing it for himself, you can't benefit because he's doing it for himself. By water, the other things also.
Yeah.
By water, when the guy's cooking water for himself, you can't benefit from that water. Why? Water is an example, could apply to other things. Reason why water you can't benefit, even though the guy did it for himself, because by water, the more people, the more water you need. So if you're going to be allowed to use the water that the guy cooked for himself, the guy might be inclined to do it again for you. You're not have a guy cooking for you. So he's going to see, oh, you're using the water. Oh, wow, okay, let me put more water. Now, that's only by a guy who knows you. Meaning, he really knows you. And you can, mean an acquaintance. Meaning you have a relationship with the guy. As opposed to a guy that's you have no connection with. You may know, for in a bad way, I'm saying, yeah. So it's only if you have a relationship with that guy, they know each other, you have some type of, doesn't mean you have to be best friends, but you have some type of relationship together. So now, if the guy sees you using the water that he cooked for himself, he might be inclined to cook more water for you. So therefore, even though he cooked it for himself, you can't use the water. Don't allow you to use the water. Okay? Yeah.
I remember we were talking about like taking medication on Shabbos for like sick people and that kind of thing.
Right.
It was, I believe you said that if someone was very ill, like, I don't remember like exactly which category, but like, not just like they feel like they need to go to bed, like they're very sick, like it's maybe because they have to their life, but like a goy could do malacha for them, right?
Correct.
They could cook for them. So does that mean that like if there's someone who's exceptionally sick, like there's like
Right. In other words,
them?
right. So let's make it very clear. So till now we're discussing about when you could, when you can't. Now there's exception to the rule. There are situations where it's a green light. We say even though generally we're saying it's shlichus, you cannot tell a guy directly to do things on Shabbos. In the whole conversation is about hinting how you do it, you could, you can. But in a situation where a person is sick, the life doesn't have to be in danger for that. The person is sick. He's in the status of what's called chayil she'im sakana. This is a status. We discussed this in one of the other classes in length when it comes to medicine on Shabbos. That's it. If someone is in this category, which we could explain if we need to, if someone is in this category of chayil she'im sakana, chayil that's not in danger, but he's sick, then you're allowed to ask a guy directly to do malacha for him. No matter, it doesn't matter. You're allowed to tell him directly. So actually, there's an example of this. There's actually a question that came up a long time ago. Question was that there was this girl who was working in a Chabad house, and she was on the 7th floor, and she had a situation with her kneecap. Whatever it was, something to the kneecap that was an injury. And she's helping her in the Chabad house. Now, to walk the steps 7 flights is like, but she told the guy to press the elevator for her. That's the question. So the answer is yes, because she's in this category, chayil she'im sakana. Because when you have an internal injury in the body, you go into that category, chayil she'im sakana. And being that you could say that maybe she shouldn't go there. No, but she's going, she's doing the mitzvah, she's helping out. So something she needs to do, it's important. So she could have a guy press the elevator for her, because otherwise she can't go there. Okay, any other questions? Want to go further? Okay, so we also discussed the case of a kabbalonist, and so the difference between shlichus, where you're telling the guy directly to do it for you on Shabbos, or he's doing it by himself, so you can benefit from it on Shabbos directly, as opposed to a guy doing work for you, but you're not benefiting directly from it on Shabbos. He's not doing it for you, so you could benefit from it on Shabbos. So a practical example these days would be dry cleaning, bringing stuff to the dry cleaners before Shabbos. So are you allowed to bring stuff to the dry cleaners before Shabbos? And the guy's going to clean it on Shabbos. How do you know he's going to do it on Shabbos? You know that's they work. They're very efficient. They bring it before Shabbos. They do it the next day, Sunday morning, or Motzei Shabbos. You can pick it up. That's how they do it. They are going to do it on Shabbos. Is that okay? Now, are they doing it for you on Shabbos so you could wear it on Shabbos? No. So it's not in such a serious category. It's like shlichus, so they're doing it so you could benefit from it on Shabbos. Now, you're not telling them to do it on Shabbos, right? Remember this? Who remembers this halacha? So what are the conditions that it's okay? Anyone remembers what the conditions are?
Yes.
Can you come right before Shabbos?
I don't think so. Right? Or well, no, I don't think it matters.
You're coming right before Shabbos, and you're going to pick it up right after Shabbos, because they're open, open long hours, and they're going to do it Shabbos, and you're going to pick it up right after Shabbos.
But you're not telling them to do it on Shabbos.
You're not telling.
So theoretically do it lots of Shabbos or
Right.
Sunday.
So exactly, because you're not telling them when to do it, they could do it whenever they want. You're not putting any pressure, saying like, I need to have it for Saturday night. You don't tell them anything. You actually need it. But you don't tell them, so it's no problem. No problem. Okay. What are other examples? What are the situations of a milim akum? We discussed also about, someone mentioned about the lawnmower, right? Could you tell a guy to do malacha for himself? A guy could do stuff for himself. Could you tell him to do it for himself? Tell the guy, you know what? It's about time you cut your grass. It's disgusting. Every time I walk by your garden, it's like cut it already. Shabbos morning, you wait to show. Okay, let's see. I don't know you have you have a relationship with him. I don't mean to say it in such a nasty way. I meant to bring out that it's coming from you. Okay, is that okay?
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
Why not? He's doing it for himself. But you're encouraging him to do it. So what? He's doing it for himself. You can't do for you. He's doing it for himself. He doesn't have to. You're forcing him. Now, there is a situation where you're not allowed. And that is, remembers,
If you give him your.
if you're offering your lawnmower, you're offering your material, you're offering him, you're telling him, why don't you make yourself a barbecue here? You can take from my freezer, have, good meat, take for yourself and make a barbecue for yourself. If you're offering something from you, then you're not allowed. Why? Because then it looks, it's not real shlichus, it's not the same level as we discussed before, where he's doing it for you, but it's still it's still prohibited, because it looks like you're sending him on a mission to do for you, because you telling him whatever you are suggesting / telling him to do something with something that belongs to you. So it gives the impression of shlichus as if he's doing it for you because he's using your item. So then you're not allowed.
Like saying, take my car, you can go.
Exactly. So you need it. Yeah, take my car. You can't because you're giving him your car. Then it's a problem. You can't do that. What is a situation where you're allowed to do that? There's a case we discussed, this exact situation, because it's very important. We allow you to do this. We spoke about it. I don't know if you're able to make the connection I'm referring to. The situation where you could do this type of you ask him to do something with an item that belongs to you.
Not washing the dishes? No.
No, dishes, no.
Talking about you said the meat you own or something,
Giving him your meat, you can't.
Okay.
If you're offering something belongs to you, you can't. There's a situation where exactly this case, not this example, but where we say it's okay because of the importance of the situation. That's because it's a situation we say, okay, we're going to allow you to do it even though it belongs to you. You know what I'm referring to? Milking a cow, right? Yeah. You have a cow that needs to be milked. The animal's in pain. The animal needs to be milked, but you're not allowed. So you're asking the non-Jew to do it for you. It's your cow. Now we allow you. Now, but here he's doing it for you. How is that allowed? If he's doing it for you, that's worse. You tell him to keep the milk, huh? Yeah. Well, you ask him to milk the cow, but you have to tell him that you could keep the milk. So now he's doing it for himself. But usually it's still an issue, like we said before, it's your cow. But because of the seriousness of the situation, animals in pain, so they said it's okay. You can tell directly to do it for you, whatever. You're turning it not for you because you're allowing him to keep the milk. You're telling him the milk is yours. And then after Shabbos, you buy back the milk from him. And Chacham were lenient, and they said you don't have to pay full price. It can be whatever price, whatever he charges. Doesn't give it. I don't know if it could be like literally like pennies, but it could be something, just a small amount, whatever it is. Instead of $100, give you $10. It doesn't. If he's willing to sell it to you for any price, it's fine. We didn't discuss about buying on Amazon. Now, I think it's easier to discuss it if someone gives a specific example of what they're doing, then I could answer, is that okay? Is that not okay? Because I'm not so familiar with all the... Yeah, you're ordering on Friday. You're ordering Friday before Shabbos and it's going to arrive on Sunday, whatever. It's it really depends on what you're doing. What are they offering or what are you asking? Because I understand this specific info how it works. It works automatically 24 hours. I'm not so familiar with it. That's why if I hear the exact situation, what you're doing, how does it work? What are you saying? What are you asking? I can answer the question.
You could order something on Tuesday and say it's gonna come by Saturday. Like, it doesn't necessarily always, it's not always 24 hours, depends on the product. So like, you could order something any day and it could schedule it for Saturday or schedule it for Sunday. And it's gonna
You have an
delivered.
option when to schedule it.
Sometimes we do, not always. Sometimes it only gives you that date. Unless you like wait to order it the next day, then maybe it would be a date.
So what option does it give you? It says, let's say ordering on Tuesday. It says, do you want it Wednesday? Do you want it Thursday? Do you want it Friday?
No.
It's asking you when it wants it, when you want it.
Like, you could have the regular scheduled time could be Saturday, but you could like do like,
Pay more money and get it like a couple weeks early.
or you could like save a little bit, get it Sunday sometimes.
When you punch it Saturday, that means what? It's gonna come by Shabbos. Could
I
come-
If they give, it doesn't.
Could come earlier.
It'll sometimes come a little earlier, sometimes come a little later, like if they give you a time frame.
Also, they
Yeah.
do deliver like in the evening, so it could
Yeah.
come like after Shabbos then, eventually.
Shouldn't be a problem then. If you punch in by Shabbos. If you punch in for Shabbos, that means it could come in also a day earlier. Saying the guarantee is gonna come by Shabbos.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee,
Yeah.
sometimes they come earlier.
It could come earlier also.
Sometimes, yeah.
Then it shouldn't be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem. And you don't put in like 24 hours,
Some things do come in 24 hours,
but you could ask for 24-hour service.
not always, no, you're at whatever they tell you, it will come. Like,
Okay, so then it's usually not a problem. But then it shouldn't be a problem.
I mean, there are certain things you could order on Amazon, other places, like they have groceries, you could order and schedule it like at 10 AM tomorrow.
yeah,
So like that, I'm assuming would not be okay for Shabbos.
It's scheduled to come at a certain time on Shabbos. Then it seems like a problem because they're just scheduling it for that time. But if they can deliver wherever they want, they're giving you the guarantee it's going to come by a certain time. It's going to come by Saturday, but it could come early also. And they're able to bring it earlier. They're guaranteeing that you have it by Saturday. So that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, so let's see, what other situations do we have here of Amid al-Akum? So you're walking in the street and you see a car sometimes without any headlights. Are you allowed to motion to the car or tell them, your headlights are off, put on your headlights? You allowed to do that?
yeah.
They're not doing it for you, they're doing it for
Themselves.
Yeah.
But if you suspect they might be Jewish, then you can't.
Let's
So
say
if you-
Brooklyn,
Huh?
let's say Brooklyn.
If you know for sure, you see this, so for sure the person is not Jewish. You don't have to worry. But if you suspect, you look at the person, maybe he's Jewish. You don't do anything because you're causing him to transgress. We also mentioned that if you, let's say, crossing the street, not where you're supposed to, like the middle, and you're causing the car to slow down, that should be avoided because you're causing him directly to slow down his car. You know, he's doing it for himself also. He doesn't want to get into trouble. But he's doing it he's doing it mamish for you. You're because you're there, he has to do it so not to hit you. So it's definitely questionable. Maybe there's a leniency. I never looked into it. Theoretically, you could argue that he's doing it for himself, but you are directly causing him to do it. So it doesn't seem right. You're directly causing him to do something for you. Oops. So usually my phone downstairs. This time I forgot.
Let's say in Brooklyn, like I've heard maybe that's stronger in Eretz Yisrael where people are often Jewish. But
Right.
is there no difference in Brooklyn also? Like,
You heard that at Tisserel, it's a different one at Tisserel.
it's stronger because like a lot of people are Jewish that are driving.
Right. So for sure you don't go into the street, right?
But here, like, is it any like less strict because? most
Sure,
people-
because it's a guy, it's definitely more lenient.
you
but I
still do it
think-
anyway?
I think it's still to me, it seems that it could be an issue with Fatchila because you're directly causing him to slam the brakes and they're doing it for you, because of you. I mean, they're doing it for you. Obviously, they have their own, it's also for themselves, of course. But in the simple sense, they're doing it right now, doing it for you. If the guy's a mashugana, then this crazy guy, so he is doing it for you right now. So to me, it doesn't sound right. You're running into the street right and caught. I don't mean running in a crazy way. I'm saying, but when you crossing a way where you see there's enough time for the guy to see you that he could slow down, right? It's not doing something crazy during the week, but now he's slowing down because of you. To me, it seems like a problem. Maybe there are opinions that would say it's not a problem because it's a guy, but yeah, but the Jews for sure it's a problem. Oh, so there's once I had this question, interesting question, that that issue the challenge they put on people have crock pots, and the settings are warm, low, high. So you're putting on, if warm is lower than low, yeah, warm and then low, high. Warm doesn't cook. If it's cooked already, you can put it on warm and it'll. So this person realized that it was already Friday night, and now the halacha is you could put on the chant raw before Shabbos, right? You aware of that? There's meat inside, you can put it on raw right before Shabbos and it cooks during Shabbos.
Yeah.
Yes. Has to be right before Shabbos. In a crock pot, it's okay. Has to be meat in there. So now he realized that instead of low, it was on warm. It's not going to cook. So he found the guy outside and he hinted to the guy, yeah. The guy adjusted it. So he asked me the question, he said years ago. He asked me, what's the halacha? You can't eat it. I mean, the guy did it for you could benefit from it on Shabbos, like we discussed, putting on the lights. That's a real example. Not only that, maybe it's even Bishalakam, I don't even know. Because it wasn't able to cook. Put on low, you put on low on warm, I don't think it cooks. But maybe, I don't know, it could be a Bishalakam also, because it wouldn't. I had once a situation where I forgot I left the child with the crock pot with the cover off. So everything was set properly before Shabbos, it was on low, it was going to cook. But for some reason, I don't know why, it came after Shkia, the cover was off. Nothing I could do. So the question is, now, could you ask a guy to put on the cover? So again, when you leave with the cover off, the child spoils. That's what happened, the child spoiled. Now, could I ask a guy to put on the cover and then it would cook? So according to what we're saying, it would seem no, you're not allowed, right? That's according to what we're saying, right? But actually, there can be a leniency because there's something very interesting about when it comes to telling a guy, and that is Bein Hashmoshes. Bein Hashmoshes, twilight. Twilight, Bein Hashmoshes. Shemeshmi is like the sun, the luminary, between the luminaries, between when the sun comes down and when the stars come out. After the sun sets till the stars come out is called Bein Hashmoshes. During this time, it's questionable. There's a doubt if Shabbos began already. What do you mean a doubt? On a practical level, it's Shabbos because you have to be strict, right? But in essence, we don't know for sure that it's Shabbos. We have to be careful because we're not sure. Chacham said when it comes to telling a guy, we can be lenient telling a guy directly if it's something that's very important to you. If it's for a mitzvah, it's going to be a major loss. If something that's very important, you can tell a guy directly to do. Even something that's prohibited by the Torah, you're allowed to tell the guy directly during this time, Bein Hashmoshes.
You can turn your light on.
If it has to be something, yeah, it has to be something. Turning the light off, we said before that you could hint to the guy and the guy will shut it off because you're not benefiting directly from the malacha, it's only from the result. So putting on a light, let's say you have a light that you want it to be on. But right, the lights are off, yeah. This is where the lights are off. And it's something that's important, yeah, that would be important, sitting in the dark. has to be something that's important, like it means a lot to you, not just an extra comfort level. Something that's very important to you. So during this time, Bein Hashmashos, you're allowed to tell the guy directly. So if, let's say, the cholent is such an important thing, for some people it's not. Yeah? You know, my house, a lot of my family members, the cholent is like, we care about it. But if the cholent is something that's very important to the prayer, without cholent is going to be like very, upsetting, like upset, whatever. It's going to make a big difference. Then you can actually tell the guy directly. Now, what about Bishul Akum? So I don't think there's a problem with Bishul Akum in this case. If the cholent is on low, it's like the fire is on. If the Jew puts on the fire and the guy puts the food on the fire, is that fine? Yeah, because the Jew put on the fire. The fire is on. But it's like the food is not on the fire because there's no cover, it can't cook. The guy puts on the cover, it's like he's putting the food on the fire, but the fire is already lit by a Jew. So there's no problem with Bishul Akum. In the other case where it was unwarm, I think that's the problem with Bishul Akum. I think so, because when it's unwarm, it's not cooking. It's just not going to cook. It's like it's not going anywhere. But there is an interesting halacha in Bishul Akum. I know you learned it Rabbi Osdoba, but maybe he could elaborate on this. But there is halacha that if, let's say, if a guy lights the fire from a Jewish fire, I mean the Jew lit the fire in the Jewish fire. The old ovens, and if you remember, old ovens have a pile-light in there. Yeah. So if the pile-light is lit by a Jew, and the guy lights from there, b'di'evet, it's okay, b'di'evet. So it could be the case of it's unwarm, but it's not like the fire is coming from there. Electric doesn't work like that. Electric, when you make the coils higher, like you can't make the electric higher, it's not adding on to the fire. It's like it's like a new element being added on. So with electric, I don't think it works. It's like the fire, because it's low, because it's unwarm, putting it to low, you're making the fire higher. I don't think that's how it works. So I think that is Ishra Bishul Akum if the guy would make it higher. I believe so. Yeah.
Would you have to worry about the chocolate pot and penetrate if they're technically like turning the fire on or no? Or am I just...
What case? We said if it's Bishul Akum, then it's a problem with the kelim. What are you referring to? If there's no issue of Bishul Akum, there's no problem. Is there Bishul Akum, then the issue of kashering. There's more leniencies with kashering Bishul Akum. Yeah. Any questions? No? Okay. Stop here. Yeah, and then there's a lot of things that you could tell a guy you may be familiar with, where you could tell him directly if it's a psikration. Meaning, what's a psikration? If you're telling him to do something that what you're telling him is not a prohibited action. In other words, Chacham are very specific. Chacham say you can't tell a guy to do so it has to do with also what you're telling him, right? How you're saying it to him. So if the words you're using, what you're actually asking him to do, is something that's not prohibited in itself. So let's say you're telling him to open the fridge. And okay, now the new fridges don't even have that issue. It's much different. You said it before Shabbos, but there used to be, maybe there's still some fridges. I'm sure some still have those fridges. You open up the fridge and the light goes on. You have to unscrew the bowl before Shabbos. Now, you didn't. The light is going to go on. So over here, you can tell him directly to open the fridge. Why? Because what are you telling him? You're saying to him, oh, could you please put on the light? That's not what you're saying to him. You're saying to him, could you please open the fridge? What you're saying to him is not a prohibited act. The words you're saying, what you're asking for is not a prohibition. You're asking him, could you please open the fridge? Is opening the fridge a prohibited action? No, that in itself is not. Circumstances is that if you're Jewish, you can't do it because you're desecrating Shabbos. It's a direct act. But what you're asking him is to open the fridge. Opening the fridge is not a prohibited action in itself. So anything similar to that, like for example, also opening hot water on Shabbos, according to many opinions, also go into that category. Now, it doesn't always help you because you still can't take a shower on Shabbos. I'm saying there can be situations where a sick person needs to take a bath when he's allowed. So could you ask a guy to open up the hot water? You can't, but you can ask him because opening hot water in itself, is not a prohibited action. The result is by opening up the hot water, it causes that cold water will go into the tank of the hot water, and you're doing cooking. But what you're asking him is not a prohibition. In any case, in the case of a person who's sick, they're allowed to take even a person is not in danger, but a person is in this status. We have to explain what it means. It doesn't apply to any sick person, okay? But someone who's in that status of chilashim sakana, they're allowed to take a bath on Shabbos if it's going to alleviate their pain, whatever. Chacham allow them, even though usually you can't. In this situation, they allow them. So, and also you're allowed to tell a guy directly to do a malacha for someone who's a chilashim sakana. So anyways, there's no problem asking a guy to open up the hot water because if someone is in that status, you could. But if someone is not, you can't. Then if you're opening up the hot water for a different reason, because I don't know what would be a practical example, because when it comes to someone mentioned about washing dishes before. Washing dishes, there's no problem having the guy wash dishes for you. Directly can ask him to wash dishes. But he's opening up the hot water. Even now over here, even if it's not a psik reisha, it doesn't matter because he's doing it for himself. You're not telling him to open up the hot water. You're asking him to wash dishes. He's washing dishes. Why is he using hot water? It's easier for him to use hot water. It's going to clean better. So you're not even telling him directly. Actually, I think there might be some opinions that hold that I'm thinking about it now, and it could be there are some stricter opinions when it comes to telling the guy to open hot water directly that some will say it's an issue. When it's not in this situation. But I'm saying, nevertheless, in washing dishes, it's not a problem. You asked about washing dishes. There's no problem at all with washing dishes because you're not telling the guy how to wash the dishes. Yes, and could you wash the dishes? Could you please open that water, use a scrubber, and use soap, and wash the dishes properly? That's not what you're saying to them. You're telling them to wash the dishes. And they're going to wash the dishes the way it makes sense to wash dishes, the way it's going to clean better, the way it's going to be easier for them to wash the dishes. So that's why washing the dishes is not a problem at all in Shabbos. Clear? Okay, everyone.
Where are you living? What? Where are you living? Like, in our house? Where's your apartment? On Empire. Yeah, not north from Empire for sure. You've been here for a year? Yeah, I've lived here since all day. All the phone schools are so fresh and bright. Yes, they are. They get out of it early for production. That's nothing.
I like, that's great, it's got the macarena.
What I'm doing?
What's it called? Macarena.
I don't know one of the features word, sure.
Yeah, incorporated.
Like sometimes we just see around.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's very popular in Kentucky.
But it's not a lot of history.
I've only seen it once, but I was shocked, like. I don't know, I like it, I say, I don't like it, but it makes me.
I would love to,
Me
yeah.
too.
For this.
Yeah.
There you go. That's really cute. But,
Next to it, my plan is.
I get to see you. But yeah, and I had some work to do and stuff, so like, there. Right here, like, how often do you have, like,
Hi, girl. This year, I guess, like a female. I have a good spot for you. But yeah, but they, usually, well, they're figured on Monday. Yeah. I would say, yeah, yeah, I know what it's all about. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
It's good on for this.
Yeah,
So we're.
you have more days off? No, just today. Okay. Wish
Yeah.
more.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we can't.
Yeah.
Time last year.
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna clean it. So nice. What do you think?